So what you're saying is VR reality became real? Yeah! Obviously I'm not being sarcastic. Also, it was like VR chat is now reality. We don't have to talk in person. We can use VR. But this is really fun. Being serious now. Whereas like people are becoming detached, and I know that's a thing. And that's as a person who does most of his life basically being like jobs. I have two reasons for that. One, because, well, that's important for me to actually have a job. And two, I'm slowly realizing that meeting new people I find terrifying. But that's besides the point. I like Electric State because I like the fact that it shows this grittiness. I also like, because the one thing I didn't notice, because one of the characters in this, Electric State, one of them that's in, and I find this really interesting, is Chris Pratt's in this, which is this character. And I watched the film being like, wow, this is amazing. I did actually thought it was Chris Pratt. It was the most hilarious thing ever. I was like, wait, what? It's the most interesting thing ever. And really creative with the sort of tech that exists. And how some of the robots look is really fun. Definitely when you see the ones, like, people put on the headsets. And, like, you have a... It's like, I feel like that's creepy enough that, like, it works. But it's also, like... You can still see the emotion. You can still see the thing. But it still looks like... Okay, this doesn't look right. Like, this... I've been talking about, like, there's some tech. And I'm like, I wish I had. Which I've said before about, Be More Chill's, pill. Where, like, you get an AI in your brain. And, like... It's dark, but I can see why people would want it. With this, I'm like, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. But yeah. So one of the things that is the main focus of the movie, and this part is in the trailers, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm just going to say what I thought at first. The whole thing with this is that in this movie, a lot of the time, a lot of things with this movie wants to do with the idea that this thing here is like, I'm your brother through like these things. And at first, I thought we were going to be like, and it was like, he's a copy of the AI, or like, he's an artificial version. Obviously, there's a certain point where I'm like, oh. But it's like, I thought they're going to go that route, whereas like, they found the system and like they're able to copy and they use artificial, and I know probably not because other versions of that exists, etc. But I wasn't expecting, and then he became a supercomputer that makes the whole system run. I don't know if that's good, bad, or just insane, or all three. I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. It shows why they did all of this. It makes sense emotionally with the villains. But it is insane. So yeah. I think this is really good, and I really do enjoy this, and I definitely would think that you should as well. Again, this is part of like the movie thing that I have, which is still ongoing until technically Parent Trap, which is one movie outside of it, which is really weird. And there's also a mix of only murders, but that's besides the point. But yeah. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. All you need is love and the ability to not feel pain by holding this really hot pan. Yes, I know this is pencil case, just go with it. Yeah, that's a weird intro, but I do this all the time. Anyway, Novocaine. As you can tell, this is in cinemas. so I don't have an image. A lot of it's like, here's Nitsy Plus, here's Netflix, here's the BBC. It's like a lot of like this, that. I don't know how I'm gonna get into this. Like in the thing, like, I will eventually review this in like 10 days or so. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I most likely would just like take a picture in real life, or I'll just go to this. I don't know, that's besides the point. But with this, I like it. I saw it and I saw Straw Hat Goofy talk really, that this is really good. And also there's where he reviews the two people. Also, I didn't know this not until I watched this, but until I watched him talk to the two actors. He's the protagonist of this is the same one from The Boys, and I didn't know that. That's not really major news, but it's one of those things that I didn't notice, and I'm like, how did I not see this coming? How did I not see this? So yeah, it's insane, it's amazing, yeah. But it's one of those things it's amazing, I love, and overall it's just exciting. It's just something fun, yeah. I don't know why I'm saying it weirdly, but this is just exciting with the action. So let's move on. The one thing which I like is because how the trailer shows it is this guy falls in love with this girl and he tries to find her. And what it seems like is sort of like what Taken is in films like that, whereas like one person goes and saves the other. And I like that. I like it as an idea, as a concept, as an overall feeling. And I find it really interesting because of that. But the one other thing which I find interesting is instead of doing what most films might have done, where they're like, it's like at the end point where it reveals it to the protagonist, and it's like, oh, by the way, here's something you didn't know, and then we're all shocked. It's revealed way earlier. It's like, oh yeah, you were part of this plan. You know about this, and like, etc., etc. I'm like, because we're going through the film, being like, oh, I love her. I'm doing this for her, etc., etc. I'm like, so she's not in danger, and you're hurting yourself. Well, you're not. Well, you're damaging. I don't know if hurt implies pain. I don't know. But you're doing this in a way, she's not in danger though. And I find it really, like, interesting it's not even on retrospect. You're watching the guy go through this for someone who is part of a plan and is not in danger. But I find that interesting how we know, but he doesn't know. And I find that a fun aspect. It doesn't make it bad. I sound like I'm saying it badly. But, like, I like the idea that we know, but he doesn't know. And it makes it more, like, intense. Like, he's doing all of this for something that we know. Like, you find out later that, like, yeah, she did love him in that sort of way and did have huge respect, but for one reason or another did this action to get them this money. And I think you can tell the reason, but I just like the idea that, like, we know. Again, rambling, I'll stop it there, but it is fun for that. So yeah, alongside showing, because I don't know if this is an actual thing, I know Not Feeling Pain is an actual thing, but I don't know if it's called this or not. I find it really interesting. It's also extremely gory because of that, and that I find is interesting. It's like showing, like, yeah, if you actually be a hero and fighting crime, you won't end up clean. You will end up with a lot of bruises and injuries, and you will have, like, if this guy did not have pain, he will be in a lot of pain. But yeah, I find it interesting. Like, here's what it would actually look like. But yeah, I hope you enjoy, and good night. And now the final chapter of this. I know we usually find intro, but yeah. So, Alien Romulus is the reason why I did any of this. And why I like did the reviews on like The Predator, why I watched Prey. Actually, no, I think Prey was one of the other reasons. Those two movies were the reason why I watched any of them. But this is the one that I wanted to watch, and then I found this existing, and those two became like two of the things why I wanted to watch the franchise. And I like it. I find it's a lot more quieter than some of the others, and I do like the sort of like, they have a synth, and you have one that we've had a lot that's like looks so human that you can't tell that's like and the humor or not. But you can also have this one that's, you might be like, is it? It's like oh yeah, that's a synth, because it hasn't learned as much, which I find exciting. I also like the ideas that they suggest in this, which is really interesting. But the action near the end and the intensity near the beginning is something really interesting. Well, some people are like, it's tried to be, if you know the original Alien, try to be both alien and aliens. Which, I get why that's an insult. Alien is really good because it's intense. It's a little bit patient and a little bit more drawn out. And also, like, not as long as films nowadays, but that's not the point that they're trying to make. But it's like slow, methodical. But Aliens is a lot more action-packed, a lot more action-oriented. And they're trying to do both. Which I'm fine with, compared to some of the other ones. I feel like it's pretty good. Like, if I had to put the thing in like a hierarchy, I would still put it below Alien and Aliens. I would say those are so 1 and 2, but not Alien as 1 and Aliens as 2. It would be Aliens as 2 and Alien as 1. Or maybe both in the same row. I don't know. But both Alien and Aliens will be below this. But I'm pretty sure this is like pretty good compared to the other Aliens. And I'm not including Alien vs Predator because I consider that somewhat a separate franchise. I only put it in the same order because I thought that might impact stuff in the continuity. I think I've said that before. But yeah. With the spoilers that I think I am going to say this in a review, and I'm going to keep it, but I constantly want to be like, the one thing, but it's not the one thing. So I'm trying to not say that, because that's not, I keep just going this thing, and then this thing, anyway. One of the things that I'm going to change to that because I think it's better. One of the things I think will be better with this is, I like the idea of it, because like in the other couple of ones, like Prometheus, and I think the last one with this was also a similar idea. I like the idea this and a bit better, where they're seeing them being like trying to merge alien and humans together, being like humans weren't built for like space travel, which if you look at human biology, they weren't. And they're trying to create a human alien hybrid, which, that is so dark. But I like how they react. It's like, what? It is insane. But I feel like that's why it's really good because of that. Because it seems so... And that, like, someone's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. It's like, no. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's process this a bit more. But yeah, I do love this. I do really... Not love, but actually love this. Because I like one. I do think they could have picked 1 to 2, but because I liked both Alien and Aliens, I'm fine. I'm mostly fine with it flip-flopping between the two. Because I like the idea that they're heisting the ship, which I don't think the others have done. You've had 8 people check planets through Aliens, just basic spaceship, and just protection, analyzing. And I like the idea that they go into this place not knowing the danger that they're about to go into, alongside slowly revealing what's happened. And the effed up stuff I've said about like the human alien fusion, which is effed up, but I enjoy it because it's effed up. So yeah, it's just insane and fun because of that. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. What does it sound like? I'm ordering pizza? Because if that's the case, I would like a pepperoni. What about... I think like my friend would want like a cheese. So yeah, 2 things. 3 things. 1, yes, new gloves. I've said that it's in the main thing, but
This side of the glove is not exactly good, so these are going to rest. Not gone. I'm definitely going to keep them and see if I can get another pair like it. I'm trying to keep spending down. I don't think that's useful. I'm not going to get this exact pair again. I'm just going to get like some sort of like fingerless leather gloves that actually fit me. Besides the point. The other thing, actually, it's probably back to 2 now. I'm a bit weird. Yes, if you see this on YouTube, yes. I'm one of those people. Is this on? Yes, it's on. I'm one of those people. This will be under Christmas. Yes, I know it's March, and I don't care. I want to watch Die Hard, and the third thing, actually, the reason why I haven't watched Die Hard for a while is because it's a Christmas film, can't watch a Christmas film, but when it's Christmas time, I watch stuff that is more Christmas film than even I would say Die Hard is. Again, I would be someone who would say Die Hard is a Christmas film, and I fully stand by it, but I would say that, like, Scrooge and this and that, those are more Christmassy compared to Die Hard. So, even though this will be under Christmas film, the reason why I haven't watched it for a while was because I can't watch it because of Christmas. Turns Christmas, forgets that this exists. So, yeah. But I have watched it. And besides the quote that I just mentioned, which I like, other stuff I like about this is the action and the sort of like funness of it. And watching other stuff where it's like, and this is obviously a bit different for me because seeing, like, I think it's Bruce Willis in an action film, it's like, oh yeah, I've seen that. But I know at the time he wasn't, like, as big of an action star, so, like, I know I'm not going to get that, but I do love him in this position. But, I need to do this whole thing, but one of the things I feel like is really fun and creative in this is sort of like, there's one moment where they see each other and they're sort of like trying to figure out who's who. That moment of being like giving the gun and do this. Yes, I've heard it before and I have seen that moment before, but actually seeing it is like really intense and sort of like, wait, what's actually happening? And doing this is really fun. I also like when like you have the interaction, because for the longest time you have Earl, but there's more actual other cops. Obviously, Bruce Willis is a cop, but more not from that specific place. But down the ground, you do actually get other cops. I'm like, I didn't thought that was a thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being an idiot. I do love this film, and I do find this insanely fun to watch. So yeah, definitely go and watch it. It is fun. And yeah, I'm so counting against the Christmas movie. I don't care. You can sue me if you want to, but I don't care. Also, I just realized I keep looking at my screen, but it makes it look off-putting. But that's besides the point, because I can't look here. Because I'm always trying to make sure that, like, it looks good. And maybe that's just bad, but that's besides the point. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. Am I next? Is it me or is it them? Is it me? Am I gonna die? No, probably not. So, I love this franchise, and the fact that I feel like there's news of season 4. I'm not going to say why, but there's people announcing season 4. So, that's exciting. I like that. I think that's hopeful to look forward to. But with this season, I like the idea that it sort of looks like at first that the person is going to die because of like the main podcast, and then you get these like small bits of weirdness within the first one. But I like how it turns out it is completely different. So because of that, obviously, this section is going to be a little bit less shorter, and the spoiler's going to be longer. Definitely longer. But, so, the one thing about this is that a lot of it deals with stunt doubles. And I like it, because I find, like, a lot of the story is how do people use themselves to create a story, right? And a lot of action films, drama films, detective films in that sort of regard have stunt doubles. That is going to be a thing that is going to be used, right? Stunt doubles are going to be needed in stunt films. That's kind of what it is. And I like the fact that when one person was like, oh, I've got this writing down and I want to, by the way, spoilers for the murder's victim, for the murder's reasons, it's, oh, I've been focusing on this story. And he could have been like a friend, but because he was so focused on his story, he didn't. And I find it really dark. So much. But I like the idea of how they're like, first time, but I've been trying, and I find it interesting. There's still some things that may happen, or may have something, because we still have the note that they brought back up again, and the dog, which we don't know about. Again, they brought back up, don't know what that is about, but I'm going to be interested to see what it is eventually. So yeah. But that would be an area that would be something that I feel like would be where I want to think what's going to happen. But yeah, overall, I think this is going to be really exciting going forward, because like one thing that's happened is the bellboy, the person who was in another person, because like season 1 and season 2, we kind of knew who's going to die because those two are going to be connected. Also, I think I selected the wrong season because it technically is season 4, not season 3. No, that's on season 1 anyway. That completely doesn't matter. So season 1 and season 2 were kind of connected because season 2's deaths is in the beginning of season 1. Yet they go back to this other murder that got them connected and then do the first death in season 2. So you kind of already knew about those two. And season 3 kind of already had a death that was unconnected to most of the other group. Like, here's another character, and then they die. But season 4 is the first one that's had a death throughout all 4 seasons beforehand, which is really interesting. But season 5 does it again. What the? And I find it interesting because of that. So yeah. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. Okay, I thought I actually had a sound. I have an edit that I could use. But yeah, 1 minute, because this is sort of like a documentary. And I like this because it sort of talks about, because YouTube is a thing now. It's like one of the funnest things that I watched in an episode of Simpsons, which is from a while back, but I'm watching it now, where someone was like, I'm an online creator. When nowadays they're like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber. Or like, yeah, I'm someone who works on Twitch. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what the shorthand for like Twitch is. Like, no, probably not that. Anyway. But I find this really interesting because it shows how it got created, how it built, how it gained. And I find that interesting and very exciting in that way. So this is one of the things I'm like, yes, this is fun. There's obviously these, which I'm going to get to eventually, like the 2000s and the 90s, and I think there's another one. But overall, this is really fun and exciting. So I hope you enjoy, and yeah, I know I'm doing this. Who lives in the pineapple under the sea? I regret nothing. So yeah, this is the first one that I'm recording this, and I'm not streaming, and the first one that I'm not really... I don't have the red jacket. Like I said, I'm going to be a bit more casual with these. And I am going to talk about things I like watching. Because I am. This is less so because... I've said this before in the last couple of them. But this one is a bit of a... I watched The Simpsons. I watched a couple of movies while I was on holiday. So we have this. And this came up on Netflix and I added it. So this is one of the ones that I was going to watch anyway, but it was going to be like probably later. I'm going to push it off. And if it fell off Netflix, I'm like, But I was like, do you know what? Why not? I'm going to watch it. It's fun. It's chaotic as hell, but it's fun. It is absolutely fun for what it is. I'm not regretting it. I don't think it's bad. It's just fun. It's not bad. Also, I love this mic and I'm not using it. I probably might use it somehow because I can actually use it, and I might try and see if I can connect this to my iPad. It means I might need to move this around, but that's besides the point. I might actually try also use this, but I don't know how to connect it to, because I know I've got this, but I might need to do a bunch of things with it. That's besides the point. That's the wrong topic. The reason why I'm saying this is because I think this is fun. I think this is really creative. But yeah, the one thing I do love, I don't know how canon it is to his actual backstory, but I do love the chaoticness of the relationship. It is fun, and it is, I also love about, like, the free heads, like, I also love how it is really interesting and her plan, and I love how she's like, oh, it has to be my way, because I say so. It's like, for fuck's sake. But yeah, there's nothing much to say, it's just fun. So yeah, I could say this a lot. I also like the idea that it is a potato, which you can actually do. You can actually, I've heard you can actually make, fun fact, you can actually use a potato as a battery. I don't know how, I'm not a smart person. Go ask someone else who actually is smart and actually knows how this works, because I don't, to be completely frank, so don't ask me. But I do think it's fun, and I do think it's insane, and I would recommend it. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. Once upon a... Well, it probably isn't that old. So that's besides the point, but once upon a time... Yeah. So, when I was merging it without, having the DVDs, I wanted to watch... Oops, shoot, that probably isn't good. That definitely isn't good. I have 2 hairsprays. Besides the point. When I had... I'm just going to keep this here. When I did that, and I was fusing something else with Die Hard, which is going to be a while, I'm holding it, don't worry about it. I put Parent Trap, because it's 2 Parent Traps, and why not? So this is good. I would say at this current point, I have actually watched the other Parent Trap, which came from 1998. You can tell this one's made in 1961, and it's good. It's fine. Nothing much else to it. Besides, I think 1998 is better. But again, I don't feel like I can go into that one because that's not for this video. So yeah. The only thing which I would say is, compared to now, it's not fast, but it feels fast, if you know what I mean. It just feels... That's not a bad thing. It feels like it's doing it in a faster flow. It's not fast, per se, but it is going along with it at a faster speed, if you get what I... Anyway, it is going with that sort of, like, speed of it. Again, I know I'm saying it weirdly, but that's sort of, like, good speed. Where it has a good flow, but it has sort of a good pace. Which is weird for more old film. You think they'll be more slower, but... But again, this exists. I only put it on because I wanted to mix some things together. And I was like, what movie franchise is on Disney Plus? And it's like Parent Trap. So I'm guessing watching this. And by the time I was like, I changed the plan to the DVDs, I already watched the first one. And because I knew the second one existed, I can't do anything now. But yeah. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. And now I will... Never mind. That didn't work. So yeah, just give me a second. I like the show. But again, it's one of the more shorter ones. Whereas, like, it's going to be... This exists. It's cool. Watch it. There's nothing really much else to it. It's just insane madness. In the best way possible. In the legitimately best way possible.
So that is one thing, which is here. This is sort of cool in my opinion, and I like it, and I find it fun. I also like the idea that it's like, I was an assassin, but now I run this convenience shop, and that's fun. I also like how other characters come in, which I love who's in this because their personalities sort of mesh well together, and I find it really fun. So yeah. One of the things I definitely say is one of my favourite parts, there's two actually, but my one favourite one is the casino thing, because how that works and how that affects the characters I find really fun in that sort of way. I also enjoy the sort of like person who could use like the when he does become like an ally later on, like when he's sort of like an antagonist, like, because like his thing with like the twisting bullets and everyone like looking down at him because of that, and him being able to use that, and he's like, yeah, that's cool, and like someone actually being like, yeah. I also find his character one of the best, not the best, but one of the best. So yeah, I do recommend you watch this. I do find it fun, and I do enjoy it. But yeah. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. I'm going to another world to fix the accounting problem. Like, I really need to fix the bugs. So yeah, again, another anime where it's, this guy goes to another world. And yes, I'm not wearing a jumper, but besides the point. This guy goes to another world. And the one thing which I like about this is he doesn't go to another world and then it's like, and now powers. It's like, he sort of like does business deals and accounting, and I love it. I love how interesting that is as an idea. To be like, oh, I'm going to another world, but instead of like doing these big things with this or that, he does sort of like this banking stuff where like he thinks about like where the money is going, where the resources are going, how to make agreements between different parties, how to figure out what's happening. And I love that as an idea. It's really fun. The one thing which I like, and this is an absolute spoiler to the very end, not any of the story parts, but like the emotional parts. The one thing that you have these other like 4 legions, 4 main people who are in charge. At first there was like 3, and with him coming in, he's the 4th, right? And at some point, it's like, oh, and now you're in charge. Now you're like the leader of the... We want to make you a king of a country, right? And I find that interesting. But the one thing I love is throughout the last episode, it's like, these people are like, yeah, you did so much, and I'm inspired by you to like do more stuff, to try and do more, to improve more in these areas. But he looks at them being inspired by him, who he doesn't think he's like worth anything. It's like, I inspired them somehow, I don't know how, to actually do more, and now I'm inspired them, and I like that. I like that sort of like idea, because like you might not believe that you're not, but it might inspire someone else, and then you might be inspired by them, and I find that interesting as an idea. I know it's weird, but that's one of the things I just love as the overall way that is. So yeah. But yeah, this is really good. I really love it, and I definitely 100% recommend for you to watch it. So I hope you enjoy, and good night. So, with this is The Simpsons, and there might be a couple more back-to-back of these. I don't know. This is just a fun thing. But here's a thing that I do like about this, at this point, is I'm actually getting, not like as in the show, but like as in how I'm doing it, I'm actually getting to the point that when I originally watched it, I'm watching certain episodes that I have watched. And watching them in sort of a way that's like, oh, I've seen this episode before, and I've seen that. And I'm like, oh, I've seen these episodes, and all of these having these sort of like elements, like I've seen them. I know like what happens.
I also like the sort of behind the laughter is the funniest thing ever, because it's sort of like, oh yeah, none of this is real and something, and etc, etc, etc. It's very weird in a stupid yet very funny way. It also deals with, if I'm correct, Ned Flanders' wife dying. If it's sort of like the group that I'm having it in, it's sort of having that happen. So yeah. I love how I'm like, and you? It's like, yeah, and like that, I know why that happened, the behind the scenes, but I'm not going to like go to the show and be like, now here's why the producers are. Because one, I'm like 50 years late. Like maybe I will talk about it. Like I did the same thing with Mufasa, but like, and two, I feel like that topic of like what happened to the voice actor there has been talked about, and has been talked about definitely by people who can do a better job at what actually happened. So I'm not going to comment about like, oh, and this and then that, because one, I don't truly know what did happen. I know they were trying to underpay the voice actors, but that's truly it, and that's like pay voice actor what they truly are deserved. But I don't know full details about it, but I did know how they dealt with it wasn't, how I see it, not really the best. But it is something interesting overall, in general. I do think it is bad, but again, there are better videos that talk about more detail, so go there. But I do find this interesting, because it's getting into how I remember The Simpsons was. Again, there are certain episodes that I used to watch, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I watched this before.